Get ready for the action, because we are diving straight into the genius of Kyle Shanahan and his quarterbacks. We are breaking down the playbook and the strategies that are dominating the league right now. Stick with us as we explore how Kyle Shanahan's system is unlocking incredible potential for the teams he coaches. Next up, we look at Finally, we analyze the bigger picture with the data on draft positioning. We examine why quarterbacks like Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are becoming anomalies, and we discuss what it truly means for players drafted later in the rounds. Don't miss a second of this analysis. Stay tuned right here for more breaking news. A recent segment on 12 News highlighted the exceptional genius of Kyle Shanahan and his quarterbacks. The report emphasized the strategic brilliance demonstrated by Shanahan in his coaching, underscoring the significant impact his system has on the success of the teams he guides. Viewers interested in deeper analysis of this coaching philosophy and its effect on quarterback play can find related content through the 12 News mobile application. Further video content is scheduled to follow in the next segment lineup. The 2026 season is poised to be Brock Purdy's most significant yet for the San Francisco 49ers, according to 49ers WebZone. While Purdy has already demonstrated his capability by winning playoff games and leading deep postseason runs, the narrative surrounding him remains complicated by lingering doubt. The persistent question is whether he will evolve from a successful player into the franchise quarterback, a perception that is often overshadowed by his draft position as the last pick in the draft. Critics frequently attribute his success to external factors, citing Kyle Shanahan's system, the offensive weapons, and the ease of the quarterback role in San Francisco. However, analysts suggest this simplicity overlooks the current offensive firepower. With elite talent like Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Mike Evans, and Christian Kirk, the 49ers offense possesses the potential to become explosive again. For Purdy to solidify his legacy, the focus must shift beyond game management. The next critical phase involves becoming more aggressive vertically, dominating one-on-one matchups, and consistently delivering in high-stakes situations. Reputations in the NFL are forged in primetime games, playoff atmospheres, division battles, and clutch drives. 2026 is packed with these opportunities, offering Purdy a chance to fundamentally alter the career narrative from temporary respect to permanent acclaim. Ultimately, the analysis suggests that greatness emerges when high expectations become the standard. Quarterbacks drafted later in the NFL draft are battling against long odds to achieve stardom, as evidenced by the recent draft selections of players like Carson Beck. Beck, selected in the third round by the Arizona Cardinals with the number 65 overall pick, faced scrutiny during the process despite his college journey, which included injuries. Beck emphasized that every player must pursue their own path, regardless of external opinions. Beck represents an emerging class of quarterbacks, alongside prospects like Drew Allar of the Steelers and Cade Klubnik of the Jets, who face uphill battles after being selected in the third and fourth rounds. This narrative contrasts with the NFL's history of producing elite quarterbacks outside of early picks, citing legends like Tom Brady, selected in the sixth round, and recent starters such as Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy. However, recent statistics show that only 3 quarterbacks drafted in the third round or later have secured at least 9 starts last season, marking a significant decline from previous years. An NFL draft analyst, Matt Miller of ESPN suggests that teams may be more discerning in their evaluation, noting that draft round placement can influence opportunity, although teams are often resistant to admitting they are wrong. Miller points to the significant investment in highly drafted quarterbacks, such as C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, which provides them with a runway to success. He argues that while mid to late round quarterbacks can make an impact, college experience remains a crucial indicator of success, citing Brock Purdy's and Dak Prescott's development. Purdy gained playing time in 2022 following injuries, and Prescott secured his starting role in 2016 after key players were sidelined. Miller stresses that college resumes provide an experience factor that allows players to perform at a high level, provided they possess the necessary tools. In Beck's case, the Arizona Cardinals' first-year coach, Mike LaFleur, is focused on development, stating the team's role is to take all that away and develop them at the pace that they can develop. The emphasis is on urgency and maximizing the available roster spots. Similarly, Drew Allar is expected to be a long-term project for the Steelers, initially serving on the depth chart while absorbing knowledge from coaches and veterans like Aaron Rodgers. Cade Klubnik, drafted in the 4th round by the Jets, has a chance to compete for the number 2 job, with coach Aaron Glenn indicating belief in his intelligence and potential to push the envelope within the Jets' offense. Quarterbacks selected later in the NFL draft are facing significant challenges in achieving stardom, despite the long odds. Prospects like Pittsburgh's Drew Allar, selected in the 3rd and 4th rounds, must navigate uphill battles to secure a place in the league. Carson Beck's journey exemplifies this, having faced both fan support and detractors during his draft process before being selected by the Arizona Cardinals with the number 65 overall pick. Beck, who spent 6 years in college and dealt with a major elbow injury, emphasized the importance of personal drive, stating, "Everybody has to run their own race. It looks different for everyone regardless of the opinions that others have of that race or that journey." Beck is part of a growing cohort of quarterbacks determined to prove themselves, alongside players like Drew Allar of the Steelers and Cade Klubnik of the Jets. However, the NFL has a rich history of successful quarterbacks drafted outside the early rounds. Tom Brady remains the quintessential example, selected in the 6th round of the 2000 draft, and more recent starters like Dak Prescott, 4th round, and Brock Purdy, 7th round, have demonstrated productivity. This trend is starting to shift, with only 3 quarterbacks drafted in the 3rd round or later: Prescott, Purdy, and Jacoby Brissett, making at least 9 starts last season, down from previous highs. NFL draft analyst Matt Miller offers a contrasting perspective, suggesting that draft position remains influential. Miller noted, "The round you're drafted in stays with you a long time. You're given a lot more opportunity based on that first-round moniker over a 5th or 6th round." He believes teams are often stubborn in admitting they are wrong about later-round picks, and that highly drafted players receive extended runways due to the investment in their development. Drew Allar, selected by Pittsburgh in the 3rd round with the number 76 overall pick out of Penn State, is being viewed as a longer-term project. The Steelers are hopeful that the physically gifted but raw prospect can develop under first-year coach Mike McCarthy. Allar is expected to spend his rookie season on the depth chart, absorbing lessons from McCarthy and returning MVP Aaron Rodgers. Allar himself stated that the current focus is strictly on fundamentals, with no immediate concern for depth chart standing.